Welcome to Hidden Coin Digest, where ordinary pocket change can reveal extraordinary stories and hidden treasures. Before you spend another quarter, I want you to stop for just a moment and look at the date. It only takes a few seconds, but those few seconds could completely change the way you look at every coin you receive for the rest of your life. Imagine walking into a grocery store. You pay for your items, and the cashier hands you a few quarters as change. Without thinking, you slip them into your pocket and continue your day. But what if one of those quarters wasn't just another 25-cent coin? What if it carried a story stretching back more than 40 years? What if it had survived decades of circulation, crossed countless states, passed through thousands of hands, and somehow ended up in yours? Today's journey begins with one of the most overlooked coins in American pocket change, the 1982 Washington quarter. To millions of Americans in 1982, this coin meant nothing more than everyday money. People used it for parking meters, arcade games, pay phones, laundry machines, vending machines, restaurants, gas stations. Everywhere you looked, Washington quarters changed hands without anyone paying attention. Nobody imagined that decades later collectors would carefully study these same coins under magnifying glasses, comparing tiny details invisible to the average person. That is exactly what makes coin collecting so fascinating. History often hides inside the smallest objects. The 1982 Washington quarter was struck during a period when the United States Mint was producing enormous numbers of circulating coins every year. Massive presses operated with incredible speed. Thousands of coins were struck every hour. Everything was designed for efficiency. Yet no manufacturing process is ever completely perfect. Every machine experiences wear. Every die slowly ages. Every production run develops small differences. Most people never notice those differences. Collectors spend years learning how to recognize them. That knowledge transforms an ordinary coin into something much more interesting. Think about everything a single quarter experiences during 40 years. It falls onto sidewalks, slides across restaurant counters, rattles around inside cash drawers, travels through banks, disappears beneath car seats. Gets forgotten inside old drawers, sits quietly in jars of loose change. Every scratch tells part of that journey. Every mark represents another chapter in the coin's history. Most 1982 quarters show exactly those signs of heavy circulation. The brilliant shine they once had slowly disappeared. The tiny details became softer. Washington's portrait gradually lost its sharp appearance. The eagle on the reverse experienced the same slow transformation. Year after year, pocket after pocket, store after store. The coin continued its silent journey across America. But not every 1982 quarter followed that path. Some were placed inside coin albums the very day they were received. Others remained sealed inside original bank rolls for decades. A few were carefully protected by collectors who believed even modern coins deserved preservation. Those decisions made decades ago created the beautifully preserved examples collectors continue searching for today. Finding one feels like opening a small window into the past. The original mint luster still shines. The lettering remains crisp. The details appear exactly as they did when the coin first left the United States Mint. Collectors call this originality. And originality is one of the most important qualities a coin can have. Professional grading services examine these coins under bright lights and powerful magnification. Every tiny mark matters. Every detail influences the final grade. Two coins may look almost identical to an ordinary person, yet experienced graders immediately recognize subtle differences that separate a common example from an exceptional survivor. That is why collectors pay such close attention to condition. But preservation is only part of the story. The real excitement begins when unusual minting characteristics enter the picture. Inside the mint, each blank placket passed beneath enormous steel dies. With tremendous force, Washington's portrait and the reverse design were impressed onto the metal. Most strikes were perfectly normal. Every once in a while, something unexpected happened. Perhaps a die began wearing differently. Maybe a tiny crack developed. Perhaps grease temporarily filled part of the engraved design. Or a blank placket shifted slightly before being struck. Those brief moments created coins that looked different from the millions surrounding them. Most entered circulation unnoticed. Many remain hidden even today. And that possibility keeps collectors searching. Because somewhere, inside an old coin jar, a forgotten collection. Or even the loose change in someone's pocket, another remarkable 1982 Washington quarter could still be waiting to be discovered. Another remarkable 1982 Washington quarter could still be waiting to be discovered. That single possibility is what inspires thousands of collectors across the United States to examine every quarter that passes through their hands. While most people see only 25 cents, experienced collectors see something completely different. They see history. They see craftsmanship. They see the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin could tell an extraordinary story. Imagine visiting your local bank and asking for several rolls of quarters. To the bank teller, they're simply wrapped coins. To a collector, each roll is an unopened mystery. You carefully open the first roll and begin laying the quarters across the table, one after another. 1987, 1991, 1979, 1985. Then suddenly, a 1982 Washington quarter appears. You don't immediately assume it's valuable. Instead, you begin asking questions. How strong is the strike? Does the coin still have its original mint luster? Are the letters sharp? Is the rim complete? Are there any unusual features hiding within the design? Those simple questions separate experienced collectors from everyone else. One of the first areas professionals examine is Washington's portrait. Look carefully at the hair above the forehead. Study the ponytail. Observe the facial details. On a sharply struck coin, these features remain clear and well-defined. On heavily circulated examples, years of wear gradually smooth away those fine details. The reverse deserves just as much attention. The eagle should display strong feather detail. The arrows should appear crisp. The olive branches should remain clearly defined. Every tiny feature tells another chapter of the coin's journey. Collectors also examine the fields, the smooth areas surrounding the design. Bright, original surfaces often create a beautiful cartwheel effect when the coin is rotated beneath a strong light. That moving band of reflected light is something collectors love to see. Once it disappears through wear or cleaning, it can never truly be restored. That brings us to one of the biggest mistakes beginners make: cleaning coins. Many people believe polishing a coin will increase its value. Unfortunately, the opposite is usually true. Cleaning removes the original surface that collectors value so highly. Even gentle polishing leaves microscopic scratches invisible to the naked eye. Professional graders recognize those alterations almost instantly. Instead of increasing value, cleaning often decreases it. The safest choice is always simple. Leave the coin exactly as you found it. Hold it only by the edges. Store it safely. Let professionals evaluate it if you believe it may be something special. Another fascinating area collectors investigate involves mint errors. Even though the United States mint follows extremely high production standards, perfection is impossible. Dies wear. Machines require maintenance. Small mechanical variations naturally occur during production. Occasionally, those variations produce coins unlike the millions surrounding them. Some collectors search for die cracks. Others inspect every letter, looking for unusual doubling. Many carefully examine the rim, searching for evidence of off-center strikes. Even tiny die chips attract attention because they reveal the life story of the die itself. Every mint error tells the story of a brief moment inside the mint when something happened just a little differently. Those moments are frozen forever in metal. That's exactly what makes mint errors so fascinating. They are accidental pieces of history. Another technique experienced collectors use is comparison. Instead of studying one quarter by itself, they place several 1982 quarters side by side beneath the same light. Immediately, differences begin appearing. One coin shines more brightly. Another displays a stronger strike. One has sharper lettering. Another reveals small die markers that weren't obvious before. The longer you compare coins, the more your eyes begin recognizing details that once seemed invisible. That experience cannot be purchased. It develops slowly, one coin at a time, one discovery at a time, one lesson after another. And sometimes, one careful comparison leads to a discovery that changes everything. One careful comparison leads to a discovery that changes everything. Imagine cleaning out an old closet in your family's home. Hidden in the back is a dusty wooden box that hasn't been opened in years. Inside are old photographs, postcards, letters, and a small glass jar filled with loose coins. At first glance, they look ordinary. Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. Nothing seems unusual. Then, as sunlight shines through the window, one coin catches your eye. A bright 1982 Washington quarter reflects the light differently than the others. Its surface still carries much of its original mint luster. Washington's portrait appears sharper. The lettering is bold. The rim is complete. Immediately, your curiosity grows. You compare it with another 1982 quarter. Then another. The differences become obvious. One coin spent decades traveling through stores, restaurants, gas stations, vending machines, and cash registers across America. The other remained protected, almost untouched by time. Although both coins were struck in the same year, they now tell completely different stories. This is one of the greatest lessons every collector learns. Not every valuable discovery comes from an auction house. Some begin inside your own home. Collectors often spend weekends searching through inherited collections. Old piggy banks, coin jars, desk drawers, safe deposit boxes, family albums. Each collection represents decades of forgotten history waiting to be explored. Sometimes nothing unusual appears, other times one remarkable coin changes everything. That excitement keeps collectors searching year after year. Experienced collectors also understand the importance of patience. Finding an interesting coin rarely happens during the first search. Sometimes it takes examining hundreds, even thousands, of quarters before something unusual appears. But every coin teaches another lesson. Every search improves your knowledge. Every comparison sharpens your eye. Eventually, details that once seemed invisible become impossible to miss. Collectors also rely on proper lighting. A bright white LED light often reveals details hidden under normal room lighting. When the coin is slowly rotated, tiny imperfections become easier to recognize. Die cracks, small chips. Strike quality. Surface preservation. Original luster. Everything becomes easier to evaluate. Magnification also plays an important role. A simple 5x or 10x magnifier allows collectors to study tiny features that cannot easily be seen with the naked eye. Suddenly, the coin begins revealing its hidden story. Small raised lines may indicate die cracks. Tiny bumps could be die chips. Unusual lettering might deserve closer investigation. Even the smallest detail can make a collector pause for a second look. Another important habit is documenting discoveries. Many experienced collectors keep notebooks or digital records describing interesting coins they find. They record the date, the mint mark, the condition. Any unusual characteristics. Over time, these notes become a valuable personal reference. They also help collectors recognize patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. Coin collecting isn't simply about finding valuable coins. It's about learning. Every coin teaches history. Every discovery builds experience. Every search develops patience. And every new piece of knowledge makes the next search even more exciting. That is why millions of Americans continue enjoying this hobby today. Not because every coin is worth a fortune, but because every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, that story begins with a simple 1982 Washington quarter sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. That story begins with a simple 1982 Washington quarter sitting quietly in your pocket, waiting for someone curious enough to take a closer look. The greatest discoveries in coin collecting rarely happen because someone is lucky. They happen because someone is paying attention. Imagine receiving a handful of change after buying a cup of coffee. Most people immediately place the coins into their pocket without looking. But you pause for just a moment. You notice one quarter dated 1982. Instead of spending it immediately, you decide to examine it later that evening. Under a bright light, you slowly rotate the coin. The original mint luster still dances across the surface. Washington's portrait remains sharp. The lettering is crisp. The rim is complete. You compare it with another 1982 quarter from your collection. Something feels different. That simple comparison may begin a journey that lasts a lifetime. This is exactly why experienced collectors never underestimate pocket change. Every coin deserves a second look, because remarkable discoveries often hide where nobody expects them. Some collectors have spent decades searching through thousands of quarters. Others have discovered exciting coins during their very first search. That's the magic of this hobby. No one knows when the next memorable discovery will happen. Perhaps tomorrow, perhaps next week. Or perhaps years from now. The important thing is continuing to learn, continuing to observe, continuing to search. Remember, not every interesting coin will be worth a fortune, but every interesting coin adds another piece to the fascinating story of American coinage. Every scratch tells part of its journey. Every mark reflects decades of circulation. Every preserved detail reminds us how the coin looked on the day it left the United States Mint. That's history you can hold in the palm of your hand before you spend your next quarter. Make it a habit to check just a few simple things. Look at the date. Check the mint mark. Study the condition. Examine the lettering. Inspect the edge. Compare it with another coin if possible. Those few extra seconds could help you notice something millions of people have overlooked. Perhaps you'll simply learn something new. Perhaps you'll build a wonderful collection. Or perhaps you'll discover the coin you've been searching for all along. That possibility keeps collectors inspired every single day. And that's exactly why the 1982 Washington quarter remains such an interesting coin to examine, even after more than 4 decades. Thank you for joining us today on Hidden Coin Digest as we explored the fascinating story of the 1982 Washington quarter. If you enjoy learning about rare coins, hidden treasures, mint errors, collectible pocket change, and the incredible history behind America's coins, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the Hidden Coin Digest family, because every new video could help you discover a coin that everyone else overlooked. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who loves coin collecting. Leave a comment below and tell us, what's the oldest Washington quarter you've ever found? Until next time, keep searching. Keep learning. Keep checking your pocket change. And remember, the next coin you spend without looking could be the one every collector wishes they had found. See you in the next Hidden Coin Digest video. Z.